What's happening, everyone? We are here in the glorious Monte Carlo and we are about to sit down with the wonderful Chris Eubank Jr. Let's see what he has to say. So I'm delighted to be joined by the wonderful Chris Eubank Jr. Chris, I'm honoured, sir. How are you?
Happy to be here, my friend.
We are, as you can tell, in a glorious location. We are in Monte Carlo.
We are indeed. I think this is my first time out here. And what a beautiful place this is. Beautiful settings, beautiful people, and then we're going to be playing some beautiful poker. This is a passion of mine for many, many years, and I'm blessed to have a great relationship with PokerStars. They flown me out here to play in some cash games and meet some of the fans and do a stream. This is actually what relaxes me. This is what I like doing in my downtime. You know, some people like to travel, some people like to watch a movie. I like to play poker. I don't know why, it's just something, it relaxes me. Even though, you know, sometimes you're playing for a lot of money and, you know, you can have some bad beats or whatever you want to say. I enjoy it. I love it. It relaxes me.
I'm with you. It is a wonderful game. Can I ask you, I'm sure that you've spoken about this an awful lot, but it was a mega event. It was a historic night of British boxing, and what you achieved that night will live long in history. How are you? How does it feel now on the sort of come down off the back of that triumph?
It's an amazing feeling to know that you did everything that you were supposed to do. You didn't cheat, you didn't cut any corners, you said what you were going to do as a man and as a fighter, and you did it. And people respect that. You know, I upheld my family name, I never gave up, and it's a beautiful feeling to now kind of just look back on that and see the reaction and see the love and the respect that people you know, are giving for that performance. I'm very happy.
No, it really was sensational, and I loved every minute of it. I'm a more casual boxing fan, but I think it really captured the nation. Did you ever anticipate that it would have the impact on the country the way that it has? I think it's actually mimicked what your father and Nigel Benn achieved in Manchester back in the 90s.
That's the privilege. That's the privileged position I'm in now, is that you know, the public are putting me and Conor in the same sentences as my father and Nigel Benn. You know, I always knew the fight had the potential to do that, but to actually pull it off, it's an incredible feeling. You know, I don't think anything will ever top what my father and Nigel Benn did, but you know, the relevance and, you know, the fact that it's happened now, and we've been able to kind of resurrect that type of feeling into the sport. It's incredible, and it's an honour. Yeah,
you certainly paid homage to it, even if you concede that it didn't necessarily reach those heights. To be totally frank, don't think I agree with you. I think it was an unbelievable spectacle, and it has captured the nation to such a level that I didn't anticipate. Like, just from a very personal perspective, my wife was talking about it. Like, that has never happened. She's never shown any interest in boxing. So the way that you managed to make that happen is incredibly impressive. You mentioned, obviously, Conor Benn's contribution to the evening. Prior to the fight, I watched some interviews that you did together, and I think it's fair to say that there was no love lost. Do you have an elevated amount of respect for him off the back of what you achieved together, or do you still hold him in the same regard that you did prior to the fight?
I respect him for what he did, how he fought, the mindset he had in that ring. That I do respect, because a lot of fighters don't go to those depths. You know, they shy away from bearing your soul in that ring. He didn't do that. He never gave up. So in that sense, I respect him. But you know, we also have to remember the fact that he did get caught with performance-enhancing drugs in his system. He's never owned up to that. He's never apologized for that. in that sense, I will never respect him. And I can't break bread with him. I can't shake his hand, because there are kids that are looking at this fight and this whole situation with the drugs, and me shaking his hand and, oh, congratulations on a great fight, that sends the wrong message to the kids. Oh, what, you can just cheat and then come back into the ring after a year or two and then everything's okay and it's all forgotten? No, it's not forgotten. What he did was unforgivable. And if you were ever going to forgive him, he has to come clean about it first, which he hasn't. Until that day, me and him will always be, we will never be okay.
Did it surprise you, his resoluteness? Like, prior to the fight, your prediction was correct, but did the minerals that he displayed on the night surprise you?
Yes. I didn't think he had that type of dog in him. I knew it was in me. I didn't think it was in him. I thought after 4, 5, 6 rounds, I'd break him down physically and mentally, and he would give up. He didn't do that.
And in terms of what's next, so I think the word on everybody's lips, and I'm sure that you've had to answer this an awful lot, but it is the question that everybody's asking. You are undoubtedly the man of the moment in boxing. And once you become that man, everyone wants to know what's next, what's more. Will we see another installment in this epic affair? Do you see another fight with Conor Benn in your future? Or do you feel that that conversation is now closed?
It's up to the public.
Huh. If it's up to the public, it's happening, isn't it?
Well, I guess what we do as prize fighters is we fight for the people. If the people want to see something, we provide. That's the job of a fighter. From what I'm hearing, people want to see a rematch. If that is the case, then I will do everything in my power to oblige.
Fantastic. I think everybody will be delighted to hear that there is at least potential for that. Just something a bit different now. I saw you on the set of The Gentleman recently. Are you in? Do we know what was going on there?
Maybe it could be the beginning of a new career for Chris Eubank Jr. You guys will have to wait and see.
Really? If an acting career potentially beckons?
I've always been in love with that industry, that craft. Acting is incredible to me. That's what I look at. I'm like, wow. Fighting doesn't wow me. I know it does to most people, but for me, as someone who's in it and does it, it's not wow, because it's just my life. Movies and all that stuff. That's the fantasy for me.
And to be on a set with Guy Ritchie, like, it's about as good as it gets in England, isn't it?
Incredible. I was spent the whole day with him. I went around the set, watched him direct. Vinnie Jones and Theo James. And just in that day, I learned so much. He was explaining to me about how to work with actors, and sometimes you got to dial the actor up, and sometimes you got to dial them down. Sometimes Vinny's on set and he's going crazy. You got to tone him down a little bit. Like, just explain to me all these crazy things and how to get into the industry and how to start out, learning your lines and practicing and all these things. It was amazing. So yeah, watch this space.
Really? Well, in the past I can think of certain moments we've seen in Guy Ritchie films. For example, David Beckham popped up, didn't he, in a sort of... do I need to keep my eyes peeled when I watch the next Guy Ritchie production?
As I said, you've got to watch this space. It's been a dream of mine for a long time to enter into that space, and there may be some opportunities for me coming up in the future.
That's very exciting. The Conor Benn fight that we've discussed is something that I think is on everyone's lips, particularly if you adopt a more casual approach to boxing. I think the devout would often have a conversation about Canelo, and I think if the Canelo Crawford fight goes Canelo's way, some would suggest that he is the best of all time. I think it's been mooted that maybe that could be your next opponent at 168. would that be something that you'd be open to if the Conor Benn fight doesn't necessarily happen, or post a fight with Conor Benn?
That is a fight that I have been interested in from years. I think it would be an amazing fight in terms of stylistic matchup. And it's a fight that can be made now. It's a fight that the fans are asking to see. Canelo's expressed interest in fighting in the UK. So I think within the next 12 months, there is a strong chance that that fight can be made.
That would be truly, truly incredible. Is there anything left in boxing that you need to get out of it? Or do you feel, you spoke there maybe about your love of acting and how you could see your life maybe moving in that direction. Is there anything else in the world of boxing is there an itch that needs to be scratched, or do you feel that what you achieved at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has actually satiated that desire?
No, I wouldn't say that. As a fighter, you don't, this is the life that I live. So there isn't ever going to be one fight where I was like, oh, well, I've done it now. This is my life, this is my passion, this is who I am. So there are always accolades and titles and fights that I will want to pursue for as long as I'm physically fit to do so. There are some amazing opportunities still out there for me, and I will be chasing them down for as long as I can.
Amazing. And just before I let you go, one question, a prediction if you don't mind. On the 19th of July, Daniel Dubois versus Oleksandr Usyk. How do you see that one going?
I saw something about Usyk saying that he thought Conor Benn won the fight. I don't know if this is true. I can't imagine that he watched that fight and thought that Conor Benn won, because it's just, I landed twice as many punches. But people are telling me it's true. If that's the truth, then I'm low-key rooting for Dubois.
Team Dubois, absolutely. Yeah.
Because that's crazy. That's really crazy to me. And I've met Usyk a bunch of times, and we've always been cool. So I was kind of shocked to see that. I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll. So I think that fight's going to come down to mindset. In the last fight, they both showed mental weakness. Usyk took a 4-minute break in that fight from a shot which some people say was low, some people say it wasn't, but he still took that break. And then Dubois kind of crumbled under the pressure after that. So I think it's going to come down to who's mentally more prepared to tough this fight out. I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Chris, I appreciate your time so much. I mean, we're in Monte Carlo, so I don't want to hold you back. What's your plan for the rest of the day?
Poker, poker, poker. We are here to have fun. We are here to gamble, punt, if you will. PokerStars have put on an amazing event. I'm so happy to be here. I haven't played poker in a long time because I've been locked into this training camp and this fight, everything that's been going on. But now I can let my hair down and have some fun.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Chris, it's been an honour. Thank you so much.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.